G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action, and I am back here with the Heavy Metallurgy to do a new review, the latest album here by Jade. This is Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. Jade are a three-piece band from Catalonia in Spain, who formed and released their first demo, Smoking Mirror, in 2018. With these 4 tracks, Jade embarked on a journey of creating atmospheric death metal, with a heavy influence from Swiss band Bolzer. Originally an independent release on cassette, the band signed to Pulverized Records and reissued Smoking Mirror in 2019 on CD and in vinyl. It would be 3 more years before the band released their astonishing debut full-length album, The Pacification of Death. 40 minutes of crushing but simultaneously highly emotive music. This was my entry point to the band, and I spent much of 2022 singing the praises of this album, both here on the Heavy Metallurgy and on my own channel. Last year, in 2024, and with a slight lineup change of a new drummer, Jade released a split album with fellow Catalonians Sanctuarium. It was a fantastic pairing, with Jade bringing 3 new tracks to their side. And now, in May of 2025, Jade released their sophomore album, Mysteries of a Flowery Dream. Through the subtle sounds of an industrial soundscape, the opening track, The Star's Shelter, begins to flow. Whispered vocals, which is, I believe, a first for Jade, introduce us to the heavy-hitting but precise drums, and that methodical riff and the lead beginning to take shape. Feeling almost post-metal in its execution, this introductory track already shows a more maturing sound for Jade. It follows a verse-chorus structure and takes us to a masterful bridge of staccato rhythm guitar, soaring leads, patterned double bass, with whispered vocals gaining dominance and tone. In under 4 minutes, The Star's Shelter crescendos and fades out to the next song. Second track, Light's Blood, comes in all guns blazing. Fast pace, blasting, combined shouted vocals in that familiar Bolzer style with guttural lows beneath them. This track sounds like a train ploughing at speed on the tracks, occasionally taking a turn or a short run through a tunnel. Jade have amplified their use of tom drums on this album, adding more variety into the percussion. Again, the verse-chorus style structure is present, giving the listener both something to cling on to as the train powers forward, but also helps us anticipate just when the next sharp turn will be taken. It will not be the last time in this review that I call out the emotion that Jade conveys with their lead guitars, and they don't always take the shape of a dominating guitar solo. In this track, particularly, the lead helps shape the chorus, adding extra color and vitality. But the train of Light's Blood always returns to the straight and narrow drive. It keeps on chugging, just like the riffs that underpin it. The third track, Shores of Otherness, refamiliarizes us with the dark ambience that started off the album, as well as introducing the first use of clean, sung chanting. Separate to the unique 2 styles that we are used to with Jade, those gutturals and those Bolzer screams. Thundering tom drums come in, a little slower in pace, and the longest piece in the album, at over 8 minutes long. Shores of Otherness remind me the most of the Pacification of Death material. The familiar mix of dual guttural and soaring vocals, the articulate but gritty main riff. Those melodic leads, deceptive in their simplicity, but always without fail, leaving me feeling something in the moment. The bridge in this song is also a bit of a departure, the large, heavy rock riffs and simplified drumming making their first appearance. Towards the midpoint of this track, the tactic is blended particularly well. I found myself involuntarily nodding my head as the track played. This kind of flourish only appears in bursts, and the band will always return to the familiar ground that they have laid since their inception. The song ends as it started, thundering tom drums decaying as the chanting vocals sail us away. instrumental sequel to the opening track, and again following the same style of ethereal and otherworldly ambience, teasing us before the rest of the instrumentation commences. This song is the slowest yet, but feels like it is over far too quickly. A real focus on the majestic, heart-wrenching lead guitar, more complex than prior leads, with real musical exploration evident, drowning out the rhythm almost entirely. The drums simply are supporting in a sluggish double bass with fills and some splashy cymbals. It's quite a beautiful track, and the side fades out with the bass guitar having its first real prominence, a jangly, heavy gauge sound that stands tall when it's playing by itself. What I always find with Jade, and find especially so on this album, is just how gigantic the scope is. Multi-layered, multi-textured, there's always something new unfolding as each song progresses. And I have to take this opportunity to call out the stunning artwork here, provided again by Adam Burke at Nightjar Artwork, also responsible for the Pacification of Death piece. Psychedelic surf rock is not a term that I thought I would be using in a Jade review, but the opening guitar in ninth episode has this Honolulu twang to it. The rest of the material is the metal of death, but combined with possibly the first ever Jade example of D-beat, this is definitely a unique experience. I can only think of early Orancy Pazuzu as a comparison here. Don't feel jaded, and yes, you could see what I did there, as the bulk of the song is safe and on well-established death metal ground. Churning and rumbling bass and bass drums, the rhythm in this is faster, repeated open chord kind of pattern. The middle of this song hits similar cues as you'd find in a more melodic death metal album. But like with everything that Jade does, it's just a taster here and a sampler there. The train will always return to the straight tracks and propel you forward. But I find this particular song manages to put a smile on my face. Jade do well at making me feel emotional, and I hesitate to call the ninth episode a party track, but it stands out as their most unique offering yet. If the description of the last song scared you off, then fret not. Darkness in Movement is classic Jade, grinding and churning with that touch of menace that Sulphur Eon exemplify. The dual vocal attack, often in unison, and the leads once again soaring me to places that I never knew I needed to go before discovering Jade those years ago. There is a restrained moment in the middle of the song where the drums again get to be creative. Some hi-hat lifting, some ghost notes, and in the third act I'm reminded of Opeth around their Ghost Reveries years. The last and almost title track on the album, A Flowery Dream, comes in similar to Light's Blood, all cylinders firing. Punishing drums in line with those leads every step of the way. Jade described themselves as atmospheric death metal, and this finale proves that point so very clearly. Jade are a world-building band. Their music builds upon itself continually, adding those layers, taking those corners, exploring those tunnels. On the surface, this track is the most direct and simple, but I disagree. It is the sum of all the parts on this album. It is a best-of assembly, giving you another go at everything that's been demonstrated thus far, with the possible exception of that psychedelic surf guitar, and it is a perfect way to round out an album of this caliber. There may be very little mystery left in this Flowery Dream, but as you feel comfortable and fulfilled at the conclusion, you are going to be satisfied with this album. Jade have completely surpassed my expectations on their sophomore full length. It's early days yet, but they may well have surpassed the Pacification of Death as well. This new album is familiar, as you've heard, but the band have added new things for us to taste on the journey. The overall construction of each song feels just that little bit more accessible, which for the listener can only be a good thing. All songs have something that set themselves apart from their peers, with the finale acting as a victory lap. Jade were already a band to watch out for, but with the mysteries of A Flowery Dream, they are a band whom have set a new bar in atmospheric death metal. They've shaken off their Bolzer shackles and have forged their own path forward. This is Album of the Year material, and I cannot wait to see how Jade can possibly top this one. Mysteries of a Flowery Dream is available May 9th on Pulverized Records on 3 vinyl variants as well as on compact disc, and as of course comes highly recommended. I hope you enjoyed this review for the new album by Jade, and do consider picking up a copy. If you like this review, make sure you check out the other reviews here on the Heavy Metallurgy. Check me out on Explosive Action, and I'll see you next time.